आज ही डाउटनेट ऐप डाउनलोड करें। डाउटनेट पर होगा अब आपके सभी मैथ्स, केमिस्ट्री, फिजिक्स और बायोलॉजी डाउट्स का सफाया। बस अपने क्वेश्चन की फोटो खींचो, उसे क्रॉप करो और तुरंत वीडियो सॉल्यूशन पाओ। डाउनलोड नाउ।
Hello everyone. So today we are going to discuss one question on continuity and differentiability. So now here in this question we are defined a function f of x. So here we are given the f of x function as when the x is not equal to 0, then it is defined like the sine of 2x square by a plus the cosine of 3x by b, and this whole is raised to the power of the ab by x square, like this. So this function f of x takes the value of this when x is not equal to 0, and when the x becomes equal to 0, this function becomes equals to e cube, like this. So now in such a case we are also given that this function f of x is a continuous function at x is equal to 0 for all values of b belonging to the set of real numbers. Then we need to find the minimum value of the parameter a, and for that we are given the four options. The first option is -1 by 8, the second option is -1 by 4, the third option is -half, and the fourth option is 0. So now for solving this question, let us rewrite this function f of x which is given to us in the question. So here in this we are given the function f of x as, here we have when the x is not equal to 0, we have the function as this. So here we have the sine of the 2x square by a. Here we have the sine of 2x square by a, like this, plus the cosine of the 3x by b, like this, and this whole is raised to the power, here we have the ab by x square, like this, where the x is not equal to 0. And when the x becomes equal to 0, we have the functional value of this f of x at x is equal to 0 as the e cube. So here we have the functional value as e cube when the x becomes equals to 0. Now in the question they have also given us that this function f of x is continuous at x is equal to 0. Now since this function f of x is continuous at x is equal to 0, so we can conclude that the f of 0 would be equals to the limit as x tends to 0 of f of x. So this is the application of the continuity, and since the function is continuous, so here we have written this equation. So let us say that this is the equation 1. Now we are going to solve this equation 1. So here in the question we are given that the f of 0, that is the function f of x when x equals to 0 is e cube. So f of 0 is given in the question as e cube. So here the left hand side of this equation 1 becomes e cube. So here we have the e cube like this, and this is equals to the limit as x tends to 0 of f of x, and the here since the limit x is tending to 0 and the x is not equal to 0, so x is not equal to 0, so here we are going to put this functional value. So here instead of this f of x we put the sine of, here we have the sine of the 2x square by a plus the cosine of the 3x by b, like this, and this whole is raised to the power of ab by x square, like this. Now as we know that here we have the limit as x tends to 0, so as x tends to 0, this sine term would tend to 0, we know that, and as x tends to 0, the cosine of 3x by b would tend to 1, because cos 0 is 1 and the sine 0 is 0. So this complete term would tend to 1 here, like this. And here if we talk about this power, then we know that as x tends to 0, this ab by x square would tend to infinity. So here we can say that this limit, if we solve this, then it forms the indeterminate form of 1 to the power infinity. So this is an indeterminate form, and now we are going to solve this indeterminate form. Now for solving this limit, here we know that we are going to use one identity. We know that the limit as x tends to 0 of the f of x whole to the power of g of x, like this. So as x tends to 0, as x tends to 0, this, and along with this if f of x tends to 1, and also as x tends to 0, if g of x tends to infinity, then it forms a 1 to the power infinity indeterminate form, and in such a case we can say that this limit would be equals to the e to the power, here we have the f of x minus 1 whole multiplied with the g of x, like this. So this is the value of this limit, and here we also have the limit the x tends to 0. So now we are now going to use this formula here, since here we also have the 1 to the power infinity kind of indeterminate form. So we are going to use this formula, and if we use this, then here we have the e cube on the left hand side. So on the place of e cube we write the e cube as it is, and here we have the limit as x tends to 0, and here we have the 1 to the power infinity kind of indeterminate form. So here we write the e to the power, here we have the f of x as this expression. So here we have the f of x minus 1, that is the sine of 2x square whole divided by a, plus the cosine of, here we have the 3x by b, like this, minus 1 is also there in the relation, and this is whole multiplied with the g of x, and the g of x is the ab by x square. So here we have the ab whole divided by x square, like this. So now here if we see this equality which we have got here, then here on the left hand side we have the e to the power 3, that is e cube, and on the right hand side we have got the limit of this thing, that is the e to the power this thing. So since on both sides we have the e which is raised to the power, so we can say that their powers would also be equal. So here from this we conclude that the 3 would be equals to, here we have the limit as x tends to 0, and here we have the sine of 2x square by a, like this, plus the cosine of the 3x by b, like this, and here we have the minus 1, and this is all multiplied with the ab by x square. So here we have the ab by x square. So now we are going to solve this further. So here we have the ab in the numerator, so we are going to take this ab outside the limit because it is independent of the limit. So here if we solve this further, then here we get the 3 is equals to ab times of this limit. So here we have the limit as x tends to 0, and inside the limit we have this x square multiplication with this square bracket. So we multiply this x square inside this bracket, and here we get the sine of the 2x square by a, like this, and in the denominator we have the x square, like this. Similarly here we have the cosine of the 3x by b, like this, and here we have minus 1 also, and this is whole divided by the x square, like this. Now to solve this again further, we are again going to use one more trigonometric identity. So we know that the cos 2 theta is given by the cos square theta minus the sin square theta. So if we solve this right hand side, then it can be, we know that the cos square theta is 1 minus sin square theta, so it becomes a 1 minus twice of sin square theta, like this. So here we have the cos of this thing minus 1, so here we are also going to find the cos 2 theta minus 1. So from this we get the value of the cos 2 theta minus 1, and this would be equals to the negative of the twice of sin square theta, like this. So now we are going to use this identity here on the place of this thing, this numerator. So if we use this, then we get, here we have the 3 on the left hand side, and on the right hand side we have the ab times of the limit as x tends to 0. Here we have the multiplication. Here inside the limit we have the sine 2x square by a, and this is all divided by the x square, like this. Similarly here we have the plus sign, and with this plus sign we are going to apply this identity, that is the minus twice of sin square theta. So here we have, instead of this plus we have the minus sign, so here we have the minus sign, and here we have the twice of sin square theta. So here we have the twice of sin square, and instead of this thing, this angle, we are going to write the half angle. So here we have the 3x by 2b, so here we have the 3x by 2b, like this, and here we have the square, and this is whole divided by the x square, like this. So now we are needed to find the limit of this thing. So now in order to find the limit of this expression, we are going to multiply and divide by 2 by a in the numerator and denominator. So if we do that, then here we have the 2 by a, like this, and here in the denominator we also get the 2 by a, like this. Similarly here we are going to multiply and divide by the 3 by 2b whole square. So if we do that, then here we get the 3 by 2b whole square as the 9 by 4b square. So here we get the 9 by 4b square like this. And in the denominator also we have the 3 by 2b whole square. So here we have the 3 by 2b like this, and this whole is raised to the power 2. So we also take this x inside this square and we get this thing, that is the 3x by 2b whole square. Now since we know that since this x tends to 0, this sine term whole divided by this denominator will tend to 1. Similarly, as this x tends to 0, this sine square term whole divided by this denominator will also tend to 1 according to the limit. So if we solve this further, then we get on the left hand side we have the 3, and this is equals to the ab times of, here we have the limit as x tending to 0, and here we have the 2 by a. So here we have the 2 by a like this, and this is multiplied with 1, and here we have the minus 9 to the 18, or we can say that this 2 gets cancelled out with this 4, and we are left with the minus 9 by 2b square, and here we have the multiplication with 1 like this. So if we solve this further, then we get here the 3 is equals to the ab times of, here we have the 2 by a minus 9 by 2b square. Now we multiply with ab inside this square bracket, and if we do that, then we get the 3 is equals to, here we have the 2b minus, here we have the 9 by 2, and here we have the a by b like this. Now for solving this, we are going to multiply with 2b in this complete equality. So if we do that, then we get here on the left hand side we get the 3 to the 6, so we get the 6b, and this is equals to, here we get the 4b square minus 9a like this. So now we are going to rearrange the terms. So if we do that, then we get the 4b square minus 6b minus 9a is equals to 0. Now in the question we were given that this b belongs to the set of real numbers. Now since in the question we are given that the b belongs to the set of real numbers, here we have, since the b belongs to the set of real numbers, so we can say that here we have the quadratic equation in terms of b. So the discriminant of this quadratic expression should be greater than equal to 0. So here we have the discriminant greater than equal to 0, and here if we compute the discriminant, then we get the 6 square, that is the 36 b square minus 4ac. So here we have the minus 4 into a is 4 into c, and c is minus 9a. So here minus and minus becomes plus, and we get the 9a like this, and this is greater than equal to 0. So now we are going to solve this inequality. We are going to divide by 36 in this complete inequality. So if we do that, then we get here this 36 gets cancelled out, and here we also have the 9 into 4, that is 36. So this also gets cancelled out, and we get the 1 plus 4a greater than equal to 0. So if we solve this, then we get the value of the 4a greater than equals to minus 1, and from this if we find the value of a, then the a would be greater than equals to minus 1 by 4. So we have got the a is always greater than equals to minus 1 by 4, so the minimum value of a would be minus 1 by 4. So here we have got the minimum value of a as minus 1 by 4. Now let us see what options we are given. So here in the options we are given the minus 1 by 4 as the second option. So this second option, that is the minus 1 by 4, is the correct solution. This is our answer. Thank you.
क्लास 6 से 12 से लेके नीट IIT JEE मेंस और एडवांस के लेवल तक 10 मिलियन से ज़्यादा स्टूडेंट्स का भरोसा। आज ही डाउनलोड करें डाउटनेट ऐप या व्हाट्सएप कीजिए अपने डाउट्स 8400 400 400 पर।